There's not a lot I can say about this film that hasn't already been said. Horror fans and critics for decades have already pinpointed this as an instant classic. There's nothing I can say to do it justice aside from the fact that I don't really like it. That's not to say I don't appreciate what it did for the horror franchise in general, as most any slasher I've seen borrowed from or took inspiration from it. Everything from Friday the 13th to the Scream series owes this movie something, but when looking at John Carpenter's original masterpiece as just a single film, without comparing it to anything else, is it really that good? Actually, I think my problem is that I try to compare it too much to all the other films. See, I didn't grow up watching the Halloween films the way I did with Jason and Freddy. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, those two characters were just so much more appealing. Also, I saw them more on TV than the Halloween movies, so that probably had something to do with it. I didn't really sit and watch this movie until sometime in the late 90s, and by that time I was a Freddy and Jason expert. And when compared to the bloodbaths that were those two franchises, Halloween seems pretty stale. There's almost no violence, aside from two people getting stabbed. The acting is, if I may say so, pretty bad, and there are some flat-out ridiculous moments that no one seems to pick out. I feel like an idiot trying to nitpick this one because it has such a huge following, but I never understood why critics gave it so much praise, while Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street got a lot of scrutiny. My first problem is with the central villain Michael Myers, also known as the Shape, because of his ability to blend into shadows. To the film's credit, I always liked how they did this. The scene where the lights dim, revealing only his mask as he stalks after Laurie Strode, has always been a great scene. It's too bad I can't say the same for Jamie Lee's performance. I mean, look at this. She just found a few of her friends murdered, and the reaction she gives just doesn't make me believe she cares. But Michael Myers reminds me of a mannequin. I remember seeing him in a few movies when I was a kid, and I just remembered thinking that's what he was. A rampaging mannequin. Part of that, I think, has to do with his mask, because unlike Jason's mask, which is pretty battered and worn, Michael's mask is like an expressionless face, so we don't really get to see an aggressive or angry nature to him. And this carries on for most of the series. Jason at least had some kind of personality, whereas Michael lacked in this department. He's just not a very interesting killer. Yeah, curse me if you want, but that's just how I feel. And I just reviewed the entire Freddy and Jason series, so I have a lot of information backing me up. Donald Pleasence was always amusing to me, and I love his performance in this film. The only thing is, there was absolutely no reason whatsoever to carry him on into all the sequels. As classy as an actor as he is, I'm amazed he agreed to do the rest of them. I swear, he gives the same performance, delivering the exact same dialogue in every film, and it gets really redundant.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
In this film, I'll let it pass, given that he is somewhat responsible for letting Myers get away.
And if you are right, damn you for letting him go.
The film has an undeniable creep factor to it, but the other thing about it is, half of it takes place in a rural neighborhood, in broad daylight. There's a scene where Myers, in his mask, flat out stalks little Tommy Doyle by the school. You're telling me this doesn't turn a few heads? There's no parents around who think this is suspicious? There are also several scenes where Michael drives around following Laurie. Why doesn't she just go to the police? It's her own damn fault Michael chases her. She has every opportunity to do something to prevent this, and does nothing until he finally starts chasing her.
Hey, jerk! Speed kills!
Again, I can see how someone hiding in your back seat would be scary. The same with Michael posing as Linda's boyfriend.
See anything you like?
But when he moves in for the kill, again, the acting just looks like it's been staged. It doesn't look authentic, and oftentimes it looks like Michael wrestles with his victims as opposed to aggressively killing them. It's awkward. The film as a whole has a pretty synthetic look to it. I know, people usually applaud it because of its gritty, realistic nature, but look at the opening scene where Michael's parents take off his mask to reveal his face. Why does everyone stand there as the camera dollies away? Shouldn't there be some action? Shouldn't the mom start crying or the dad be pulling Michael's hair? Something. Even the simple act of running into the house to see what Michael was doing with a large-ass kitchen knife would have been better than their dumb asses just standing there waiting for someone to yell, "Cut."
I still think I should notify the radio and television.
No. If you do that, they'll see him in every street corner. They'll look for him in every house. Just tell your men to keep their mouths shut and their eyes open.
No, don't call in your units to check out the surrounding houses. Just let it slip quietly as an escaped murderer butchers everyone. That's the smart thing to do. You might be asking, is there anything I like about the film? Well, the opening scene with Michael walking up the stairs and putting on the clown mask is pretty intriguing. I like how you see everything from his point of view, and then we pull back to reveal that it's a little kid. I also think the film is pretty suspenseful toward the end, but most of it is just filler until we get to that final sequence between Laurie and Michael. The film has its faults, but I don't think it's a bad movie. In fact, it's one of the first movies I pop into my DVD player on Halloween. It definitely puts you in the right mood. The atmosphere and the music are what's compelling about it, but I've never understood the amount of attention the movie gets, because there have been slashers since then that have done better jobs, and that have all gotten trash talked because of the gore factor. It's one of the films that I felt benefited from its sequel because Halloween 2 actually furthers the story, although many would argue that it didn't need a continuation. There probably aren't a lot of you who haven't seen the film, so all I can say is, what are you doing? Stop watching this video. It's October. Get your lazy asses to the video store.
Go in!
Hey! Hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there.
You know, it's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare, huh?